you're about to make another statement to try and speak to the black community and to get them to the conclusion that the source of your problems is actually the Jews. Watch how he does it.
The New York City police, they're killing us. But they're being trained by Israeli security forces.
The New York City Police Department is killing us, but they're being trained by the Israeli forces. So the reason that you're really suffering is because of the Jews, is because Israel exists, is because the Jews are in power today in their homeland. That is what is anti-Semitic. It couldn't be clearer in what you just said. Now let's review the facts. New York City has experienced terrorism, right? We have 9/11. We had a guy who was ramming a few people on Times Square about a year ago, 2 years ago, while I was living in New York. I was a student at Columbia University. And every city has a threat of terrorism today, whether it be from white supremacists, whether it be from anti-Semites, whether it be from people that are anti-black, anti-women, anti-Christian, anti-Muslim, anti-Jewish, Islamic terrorism. It's very relevant today that terrorism is a threat. So the country that has experienced the most amount of terrorism and the security force that knows how to deal with such terrorism the best is Israel. So obviously security forces, bodyguards, security companies, and also police forces will reach out to former Israeli soldiers or to Israel and say, hey, can we be trained in self-defense Krav Maga? Can we be trained in counter-terrorism methods? Can we be trained in hostage situations? The IDF doesn't come to New York and say, hey, New York State Police, let's teach you how to kill people. No, they teach them how to prevent and to stop terrorist attacks or hostages and to learn how to defend themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, you're trying to associate one of the biggest problems that the black community in America is experiencing, which is police brutality, which is a real issue, and getting people to the conclusion that that is Israel. And that is the Jews being strong in their homeland. That is what you're doing this whole time. But during moments like this, us Jews that are woke and our allies, we do pick up. And I'm making this reaction video to give content to these young Jews and our young allies that are also not Jewish, to know how to answer, to know how to identify these problems, to know to be aware of these things. The same way black civil rights, from black people having rights to now being aware of racism and dealing with racism and condemning racism and making racism socially unacceptable. There's a lot more work to be done. But the world has to wake up to these issues, and the world has to wake up to Jewish issues and anti-Semitism, and has to be able to condemn what these people are saying. If you've watched this video, please tag Charlemagne, please tag DJ Envy, please tag Angela Yee. It's important for them to get this narrative too as influencers, and I truly hope that one day you will invite someone who knows how to talk about Israel's narrative. There are plenty of people out there. However, please, if you have your platform talking about one issue, have someone talking about that issue that is Palestinian and Israeli. Don't have people outside that are trying to vilify Palestinians or vilify Israelis, like Marc Lamont Hill.